Hello, my name is Peter Collier. I created the TEAM.AS.ONE Team Psychological Safety Certified Practitioner Program. And in that program, we use a tool that I developed based on Professor Edmondson's theory and research to measure the level of team psychological safety in a team. One of the things that Professor Edmondson made very clear from her research is that the leader behavior is one of the key antecedents or foundations of how team psychological safety develops in a particular team. And in my experience over the last years, I have come to the conclusion that the leader is by far the most important, the most critical factor impacting team psychological safety. And to my surprise, although there is a tool, that's the one we propose, to measure team psychological safety in a team, there's actually no assessment focusing on the leader. And so that's what I've developed. And I'm introducing to you today the Team Psychological Safety Leader Assessment, or TPS for Leader for short. It is basically just an application of Professor Edmondson's model. I have taken the 7 elements that she identified as being how team psychological safety shows up, behavior-wise, and I've translated that into and connected it with the behavior of a leader. And I have identified 3 dimensions along which I think the leader can demonstrate or not these behaviors. The first dimension is role modeling. It is the extent to which the leader demonstrates the behaviors associated with psychological safety in a team. To what extent does the leader, him or herself, take these interpersonal risks? Do they ask for help? Do they admit mistakes? Do they bring up difficult issues for the team to deal with? So that is the first dimension, role modeling. The second dimension is how the leader reacts when others in the team members, take these same kind of interpersonal risks. Do they react in a way that develops psychological safety, or do they react in a way that shuts off and punishes those who speak up? That second dimension I call supportive responding, the extent to which the leader supports others in the team when they take interpersonal risks. And the third dimension is called team enabling. That is the extent to which the team leader promotes the members of the team to take interpersonal risks. And most importantly, how the team leader reacts when somebody in the team reacts negatively to another team member taking interpersonal risks. For example, if Bob takes an interpersonal risks, asks for help, talks about their own mistakes, but Susan in the team, another team member, makes fun of Bob, then the question is, how does the team leader react? Does the team leader let it go, pretend there's nothing to be done, or do they intervene and make sure that this kind of behavior is stopped and turns it into a positive learning opportunity? So those are the 3 dimensions I have developed, and I've developed 7 statements beneath each dimension that the team leader, him or herself, as well as the team members, will assess, will rate. And the report then, of course, compares the rating, the self-assessment of the team leader with how his or her team members see them behave along these 3 dimensions. The TPS for Leader report has been applied in a number of organizations, and the response has been very positive. Team leaders see that this is now finally, after all the talk about psychological safety, finally a concrete way to measure where they are, what the gaps are with how their team sees them, and how they can take action, small actions, impacting the way they interact with the team, the routine team meetings, how they can adapt their behavior to better develop psychological safety in their team. So this is what the report is about, looking at these 3 dimensions and seeing how the team leader's self-assessment compares to that assessment of the team. There is also the open-ended questions where team members can share their feedback, thoughts, and comments. So I really invite you to consider using the TPS for Leader report as a starting point for those leaders who are motivated or maybe intrigued by the topic of team psychological safety. And I've been hearing a lot about it, but kind of lack a concrete way to get started. This is a way to get started. It's a measuring point at one point in time. It gives the leader orientation of how the team looks at him or herself and what areas they can improve on going forward. So I wish you all the best, trying to use the Team Psychological Safety Leader Assessment, or as we call it, TPS for Leader. All the best.